Audi India's latest stab at the EV market is with this, the Audi Q8 e-tron, which comes in the regular SUV shape and the sportback version. Now this is the e-tron in a slightly new avatar. It's got the Q8 badge which prefixes it. And talking to me about this model and the way ahead for electrification for Audi, we have the Audi India head, Balbir Dhillon. Balbir, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
E-tron in a way back again with in a new, I wouldn't say new avatar, but you've got a new logo over here. Yeah. I think first time we're seeing the new Audi logo and now the Q8 prefix. So I think it's kind of giving it a new identity, so to speak.
Absolutely. So this is what we wanted, and it's a mix of multiple things. You have not just the looks of the cars are becoming different. You can see the front grille, it is becoming wider. You have the first time 2D logo. But what is more important is what is in the heart, and for an EV the heart is the battery. And we are bringing the capacity of the battery is now taken up from 95 kilowatt hours to 114. I think it is the strongest or the biggest battery pack in the car industry at this point in time for us. And all of this goes into improving the mileage of the car. And of course, with whatever features that we are bringing along with this, I'm sure this will be a game changer for us going forward.
Right. And you know, Balbir, when you launched the e-tron some years back, clearly this was the first sort of luxury SUV at that time, but now there's a lot of competition. Yeah. I mean, do you think this is becoming a very competitive marketplace, especially the niche luxury high-end? Still small volumes, but so many more players. And what's your outlook for demand in this segment?
Well, I think let's look at a bigger picture, because we are still evolving in the EV sector. It's just 2 years, exactly 2 years in July 2021 when we launched these cars, and we are also learning with when we've launched these electric cars, because this is also something new for us, and how the ecosystem is evolving, what is customers' needs actually, what are the problem areas, what they have, what problems they face on day to day on charging. So why we see that most of the customer, while they charge at home, they're still skeptical about moving in intercity. So this is where the challenges do come, where sometimes they go to charges, they're not working. So what we try to do is not just sell cars, but we're also helping improve the ecosystem. We have put 100+ charges across the dealerships across the country, but not too many customers do come there. But what ground problems we found out that they're facing is when they travel intercity, the chargers, they do work, they're not confident about it. So we created a space in My Audi application where we connected with 5 CPOs, where we have over 800 chargers now, can be seen live on our app. And the app also tells you whether they are working or they're not working, and you can also pay through that, and you can charge and stop charging, start charging, all that is possible. But said that, I think we are evolving, and it is, to be honest, too unfair then if you talk about numbers at this point in time, because I think most of the players are playing in the segment which is, let's say, 80 lakhs plus today. We are also going to get more cars as we move on, because Audi has declared that by 2025 we'll have 20 odd electric cars. Some of them will also make to India. And once we have widened the scope, then we need to talk about numbers. Right now, we're investing into the technology, we're investing in bringing these cars as of now as FPUs. But I think going forward, we should talk about numbers. At this point in time, the more the merrier, because unlike ICE engines where the manufacturer did not have to have petrol stations, but in case of electric cars, we also need to invest in the charging infrastructure. So this is something which is changing. So I always believe the more the merrier. All of us will create this ecosystem where the concept of electric mobility will become successful, and then in the process, everybody will sell more cars.
That's interesting. I think, Balbir, what is coming out right now out of the 3 issues of EVs, which is price, range, and charging infrastructure. Price, yes, it's expensive, but doesn't seem to be a major issue. Range, now you're solving that with bigger batteries. Is it fair to say that infrastructure, out of the 3 worries or big concerns, is still the biggest challenge, and that's really been one of the hurdles, and if you solve that, you could see a much wider adoption?
Absolutely. I think that is something which is very, very critical, and most critical right now. And we are moving forward in this particular topic. In fact, we are in touch with many charging point operators, and we continuously engage with them to understand what their problems are and how they are solving. So we have now thousands of chargers which are available through various charge point operators, and they are also looking at electrifying the whole of India. Everybody talks about thousands of kilometers to be electrified. Initially, what I get to hear from them is they were trying to put charger every 100 kilometers. Now they're reducing to 50 kilometers. Initially, the chargers were 30 kilowatt DC chargers. Now everybody is talking about even 150 kilowatt chargers. So I think we are in the right direction.
Right.
We have to give ourselves a little bit of a time, because we should not be in a hurry. We need to have the sound of silence, like we say in this car. We also need to have a little bit of a patience, but we are getting there. And I think next 3 to 5 years will take us into a good percentage of EVs.
So, Balbir, taking this car, 114 kilowatt hour battery.
Yeah.
Clearly, you need a high capacity DC charger.
Yeah.
You think that also is a challenge because, I mean, let's be honest, all the widespread, I mean, the maximum number of chargers, what is really widespread are 25 kilowatt and 50 kilowatt, which really for cars like this, I mean, 25 kilowatt would take 4 hours for this to charge. So do you think that also is something that has to be addressed, is even the capacity and the speed of charging, because, with your cars, bigger batteries require faster chargers?
Absolutely, and this is happening as well, because
is it happening? Because one just sees it in pockets. You don't hear too many of 150 kilowatt chargers. It's only at maybe showrooms or select places. It's not so widespread. So I just wanted to get your thought on this.
I think with car like Q8 e-tron, you're solving one problem for sure. With like close to 600 kilometers
so the range
of WLTP range, this solves one big problem, that you can travel even between 2 cities. There is no problem. But yes, we still need to have more chargers, and I think, in fact, I was speaking to one charging point operator today, and he told me that they are installing 1 chargers per day on an average, and they are now moving from 50-60 kilowatt chargers to 150 kilowatt chargers. So this is happening.
Right.
As we speak, this is happening, but India is a large physical geography, and by the time everybody puts all their resources together, it takes time. And also these companies also have to be profitable. It can't be just investment. So I think this is happening, and next 2, 3, 5 years you will see good adoption. And then we'll speak about the percentage of number of cars that we sell.
Right.
At this point in time, we have to invest.
Yeah, right. So what you're saying is, don't look at the numbers right now. It's still early days, an early race.
Absolutely.
And I think we're just seeding the market first before we get into a state of actually growing the market.
Absolutely.
So just one thing I wanted to say, a lot of the luxury SUVs we've seen, even with y'all, they've fundamentally been SUVs. Is this a trend? I mean, it seems to be, in a way, practical. You've got the ground clearance. There are sedans, but people aren't launching sedans as in the same tempo as they're launching SUVs. I'm talking about EVs.
So I think it's a matter of time. We will also have sedans in the futures, and with the body type in sedan, with the same battery pack, you will also have longer ranges.
Right.
So there are positive. There are
also,
but
especially on the highway, because that makes a big difference on the highway.
Absolutely, and car like this we can also adjust the height of this car up and down both, so you can have the best of both worlds. So I think for the present, the practicality is one major issue. For Indian road conditions, of course, I'm not saying they're bad, because we are improving very fast. The intercity travels, you see the number of highways that are being constructed over 20 kilometers per day. So all those are world class actually. But still, when the cars, if they have to go off-road here and there, the good ground clearance obviously makes sense and much more practical. So I think this is something which our customers love, and I'm sure this will continue going forward as well.
And last question, Balbir, looking at the overall outlook for Audi and what you think is even on the luxury EV space, 2025, 2030, what percentage of your portfolio, of your range will be EVs by then? Because clearly you're being led by what is happening from headquarters, the push globally to go completely towards EVs. I mean, in Europe, there's a mandate, there's a kind of a, let's say, end date for the ICE engine. So that is a matter of time. But just looking at the Indian context and even the luxury car context, do you think there's faster adoption in luxury cars because things like cost, people are, let's say, more attuned to going EV in that respect?
Well, don't hold me to the numbers that I say now, but I think in general our sense is that by 25, 26 we should be about 15%, and going to 2030 we should be close to 50%. And that's the direction, that already announced that by 2033 will be all electric. So we have to move in that direction. So I think it's only a matter of time. And I also agree that probably the luxury segment will lead the change into electric mobility as far as the cars are concerned. So we will move faster than the volume segment. That's my understanding today. And I think as the industry overall grows, we will also have more percentage of electric cars. And at the end of the day, at this point in time, we are as of now only importing the cars. We are also contemplating working with headquarters when and how do we bring and which model do we bring, because we still have certain models right now. We'll have more models going forward, so we'll have to decide which models make sense to be brought into India as a local assembly.
Right.
Those decisions are yet to be taken, but they will also bring a different price point, which is not there today.
Honestly, I mean, so CKD is, at least local assembly, CKD is on the cards. What is it dependent on? Because one would imagine you would do it right now. You have a plant in Aurangabad, which is a great CKD plant. So I mean, you've got the infrastructure in a sense there.
So we have place. Of course, we need fresh investments because we can't use the same lines. As I always say, it is a question of when. It is not the question of if. So like I mentioned, that we need to decide which models do we need to do, and as of now we have limited models also in global portfolio, but we are going to launch more in the coming year. So all those discussions are on. We've not yet decided which one and when. As and when it is decided, of course we will share with you, but we will have to do one day, because at the end of the day that makes much more sense, because at the end of the day customer should get the right value because of
but from a group perspective, the MEB seems the most likely candidate, and all vehicles of the MEB seem the most likely candidate for localization, or let's say not localization, assembly.
I will not be able to get into so much of details at this point in time, but we are looking at multiple options. Let's see what makes sense.
Right. And Balbir, you've had a great first half of the year. Again, grown, almost doubled your sales. Not back to the heyday of 5 digits per year, but do you think this year you can crack the 5-digit mark? I mean, if you just double it, you're close. You just have to push a bit more. What's your ambition?
So honestly, I think what we are doing is we're not chasing a particular number. For me and for my team, what is most important is happy customers. I'm really happy and proud to say that every 4th car that we are selling today, we are selling to our existing customers. Either they are upgrading or they are buying another one for. So this is what we want. We want to have much more loyalty, and we also want to have a sustainable, profitable business for our dealer partners, for our own self, to reinvest back into the ecosystem. So at the end of the day, number is a byproduct. Yes, we are growing. We've almost doubled our sale, and we'll continue to grow this year, and hopefully we will also continue to grow coming years as well. But there's no number that we are chasing. There's no market share that we are chasing. That is all byproduct of the first topics of customer centricity and sustainable business.
Well, you're not saying it, Balbir, but here's hope you hit that 10,000 mark in 2023, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Thank you.